Hello, my name is Jonathan Pernitzel, and I'm here today to talk about the e-learning, the demographics of e-learning, and my journey from lead to prospect to Colorado State Global. To begin with, I want to make sure we understand what we mean when we say traditional learners. So traditional learners are students between the ages of 17 and 21 who are enrolled full-time at a four-year institution and live on campus. And that's just really, percent-wise, not that much of the student population, about 15%. So when we say post-traditional learners, we mean everybody else, the other 85%. And that is the bulk of the population we're looking at when we talk about e-learning. It is a population that's getting younger as the years go by a couple years at the undergraduate and graduate level. And I get into the statistics here a bit more, but I think it'd be great for us to take a look at this awesome infographic I found from Classes and Careers. And so here we're talking through the demographics. This is a huge population, 6.4 million students. About 31% of all enrolled students are enrolled in at least one online class. And that group is predominantly female at the undergraduate and graduate level, kind of a split between single and married. About half of them have children. They're enrolled for a large part full-time. And they are employed for a large part full-time, with considerably more at the graduate level. And also income is definitely a concern for these folks, so price is definitely something they're sensitive to as we talk through this. And as we talk about the marketing and process here, understanding a recruitment funnel. So that starts with leads and it kind of trickles down to the bottom when we get to learners. So a lead is just a potential learner who either an institution or a person has reached out, and they've either done that by purchasing a list of names or kind of the more organic approach of somebody finding their school, and then become a prospect by responding to that initial outreach and deciding to continue to move forward. And if they proceed through that, they become an applicant by completing a school's application, and that includes their transcripts and everything. And a school evaluates those transcripts and deems somebody admissible to become an admit. And at that point, they can enroll. And the difference between students who have paid and enrolled and kind of stick around to become learners, there's this idea of melt. And that's that mathematical difference between you paid and you enrolled and you didn't stick around. And that's a major concern in the space of e-learning and kind of traditional enrollment. So to better understand that, I'm going to talk through my journey from lead to prospect at Colorado State Global. So I filled in an online inquiry form, really basic. I didn't go through their kind of chatbot process, but I could have done that. So filled out my request for information, let them know they could follow up with me. They sent me a response email right away. So I filled out the inquiry form just at the end of my lunchtime, and less than 30 minutes later, I got a response email. Here's that response email. My enrollment counselor, Charles, introduced himself, explained some of what Colorado State Global is about, invited me to read their blog, invited me to complete an application, and to schedule a phone call. So I went ahead and scheduled a phone call, told them to call me on Friday. Even though I told him to call me on Friday, he left a voicemail for me less than an hour later explaining kind of the Colorado State process, introducing himself to me. And then on Friday, we actually had a phone conversation. So he talked through kind of my interest in this IT certificate, focused on the faculty credentials, kind of their connection to industry, talked through the CompTIA certification partnership they have, talked around my academic background, and then really tried to reassure me kind of the reputation and accredited nature and not-for-profit public nature of CSU-Global and their approach and what that looks like. Talked me through the cost process, the retention process, and then focused a lot on what support would look like. So as Charles explains it, he would be my enrollment counselor all the way up through the end of my first modules. That would include course registration and everything else. And at that point, he would hand me off to an academic advisor. And then right away after that, he sent me another follow-up email. It was personalized, let me know what the transcript submission process would look like, and then told me to consider my finance options. And then signed off as Chuck, and it was really personal, great experience. Thank you. And here are my references. Here's my first appendix with the initial reach out from Charles. And then the second kind of thank you follow-up email signed off by Chuck. So thank you again.